Hey everyone! Welcome to the grand finale of our ML Lifecycle Explainer series. If you've been with us since part 1, you know we've spent a ton of time getting our data right and training our algorithms. But today's the day we finally take our model out of the kitchen and serve it to the customer. This is the final frontier. We are talking about deployment.
So looking back at our journey, we conquered acquisition, getting that raw data. We tackled pre-processing to clean it all up. We completely mastered modeling to find the hidden patterns. And now we've reached step 4, our final active step, deployment. This right here is where we cross the finish line.
Because, think about it, you don't cook an amazing dish just to eat it all by yourself in the kitchen, right? Well, maybe sometimes, but you know what I mean. A model that just sits in a Jupyter notebook hasn't actually done anything useful yet, honestly, no matter how incredible its evaluation scores are. You could have a model predicting housing prices with 99% accuracy, but if it's trapped on your laptop, it's not helping a single home buyer. It's essentially just a really impressive math homework assignment until we actually get it out there and serve it.
Okay, section 1, what it actually is. Let's break down what leaving the lab really entails and why it's the absolute most critical pivot in your entire AI project.
So, what exactly are we talking about here? Production ML. It's that definitive threshold where a trained, evaluated model officially stops being a research experiment and starts being used by real, live systems. Now, if you caught our previous ML Engineer Roadmap Explainer, this is exactly that production ML phase we covered in full depth. It's the moment of truth when your code has to actually stand up to the sheer unpredictability of everyday use.
We are finally bridging that gap, connecting isolated algorithms directly to actual users on their devices. Whether that's phones, tablets, or computers. It's no longer your private little experiment. It's a functioning product delivering genuine impact. This is absolutely the vital stage that turns everything we talked about in the first 3 parts into something real people can seamlessly interact with.
All right, moving on to section 2, the main steps. We know what deployment is conceptually, but what does the actual day-to-day work look like?
Well, it comes down to 4 concrete steps to keep a model running smoothly. Packaging, infrastructure, monitoring, and maintenance. It's definitely not just clicking a single deploy button and walking away. Together, these 4 pillars form the foundation that keeps a model useful long after launch day.
Let's dive into that first step, packaging. The crucial point here is that your model absolutely needs to be packaged so other software can actually call it and talk to it, usually by wrapping it behind an API. Think of it kind of like a universal translator. It completely decouples your complex machine learning environment so standard web or mobile apps can just seamlessly request predictions. And the best part? They don't need to know a single thing about the underlying code. Next up, we have infrastructure. Once your model is all packaged up, it needs a reliable place to live, right? It needs to run on managed servers. If you remember our Hugging Face explainer, inference endpoints are a perfect, concrete example of managed servers built specifically for this exact purpose. Using something like that lifts a massive DevOps burden right off your team's shoulders. That way, you can focus entirely on the model itself rather than tearing your hair out configuring hardware and networking from scratch.
Okay, so once you hit launch, you aren't just looking at perfectly controlled test data anymore. You have to actively track a live dashboard to catch data drift. Because here's the reality. Real-world trends change. They just do. And you need to know exactly when your model starts getting confused by genuinely new patterns it simply hasn't seen before. Which naturally leads us right into the final step, maintenance. This right here proves that deployment isn't just a one-and-done event on launch day. When your monitoring dashboard starts flashing that real-world data has drifted, or maybe the actual underlying problem itself changes, you have to step in. You acquire new data, and you retrain the model. It takes what looks like a linear project and transforms it into a continuous, living, breathing cycle.
And that brings us to the ultimate difference. An untouched model sitting in a kitchen versus a deployed model actually served to a customer. Those are genuinely different outcomes, even if the underlying math is 100% identical. One is just a theoretical success, the other is out there delivering actual, measurable value to real people in the wild.
And with that, guys, our 4-stage life cycle is officially complete. Getting real data in acquisition, making it usable in pre-processing, learning from it in modeling, and finally, putting it to work through deployment. Packaged, hosted, monitored, and maintained. Start to finish, that is exactly how you build a successful machine learning project.
So this leaves every data scientist and engineer out there with one very honest question. Is your model stuck in the lab? Are you actually ready to bring your AI project to life, or is it just going to stay untouched in the kitchen? Because the world desperately needs the solutions you're building, but they absolutely cannot use them if you don't deploy them.
Now, if you want a hand with literally any part of this life cycle for your own business, whether that's acquisition, pre-processing, modeling, or deployment, reach out to AI Tech Hub at info@aitechhub.ca. And hey, comment the word lifecycle below if you want to see this whole process applied to a real project. From start to finish, thank you so much for sticking with me through this entire ML Explainer series. Keep building, keep deploying, but I'll leave you with this one thought. Once your AI is actually out there in the wild, adapting to the world, who is really adapting to who? Think about it. See you next time.